Yeah.
But let's jump to this story, my friends, because none of it matters.
That's right.
None of it matters. It's happening. From the New York Post. NASA hired 24 theologians to study human reaction to aliens. The official narrative, I guess, or not the official narrative, but what people are saying is basically that NASA is trying to figure out how different people of different faith backgrounds will react to the knowledge of intelligent alien life in our existing. The first thing I'll say is it's strange to me that there are people who believe aliens don't exist. In this massive of a universe, as big as it is, there's got to be life somewhere. You know what I mean? Yeah. Now, whether or not it can travel the universe and come here and interact with us is a different story. The New York Post reports, between heaven and earth, where do aliens fit in? That's the question NASA hopes theologians at the Center for Theological Inquiry in Princeton, New Jersey can answer. University of Cambridge religious scholar Reverend Dr. Andrew Davison, who also holds a doctorate in biochemistry from Oxford, is one of the 24 theologians enlisted to help. His upcoming book, Astrobiology and Christian Doctrine, due out in 2022, will cover in part of the CTI and NASA's joint spiritual exploration. There's a question. Is it really happening?
You know who
Are
really
they preparing for aliens?
You know who really gets credit in all this? Scientologists. They've had this right all along. They believe that aliens came down and the Church of Scientology wins. Oh yeah, there's aliens. Absolutely. And well, whether they came down or not, but literally, like, what was it in 2020? They're like, the government's like, dude, there's UFOs, and
we don't know what they are.
Yeah,
people are like, meh.
And the only one I saw really getting if I was a kid, like, and you told me that aliens and the Loch Ness monster were real and Bigfoot, I'd be running around the block naked telling everybody about it, right? Like, now it's like Joe Rogan was the only one like, dude, there's aliens, and that was it. And nobody cared. Well, there's absolutely aliens or UFOs.
When you have the government promoting the idea of aliens and Neil deGrasse Tyson, I just automatically think that they're preparing for the next psyop. I mean, the corporate media, the government, aliens. It used to be just people outside of the box talking about this, but now it's the establishment saying there's aliens out there. There's something out there that defies the laws of science, defies the laws of physics. We don't know what it is. That's absolutely mind-boggling.
So is Neil deGrasse Tyson now a part of the establishment?
I think so. Absolutely.
He's completely changed his tune from that dude's smart.
Yeah.
I think he's getting paid.
Have you guys ever read Watchmen, the graphic novel?
I have not.
So it's different from the movie, and the graphic novel is more relevant in this regard. In Watchmen, the bad guy simulates an alien attack to force global unity because it's the height of the Cold War, and Russia and the U.S. are going to fire missiles at each other and nukes. And so he stages an alien invasion, convinces everybody we have to unify to fight against it to stop war, right? Maybe that's the psyop. Convince everybody of the world that we need one world government because of an alien invasion. You ever see Independence Day?
I was just about to bring up, I think they did this movie with Will Smith before.
Right. So Independence Day is all the different countries are trying to, they're all independently fighting these aliens. And then they're like, send out the word, here's how you take them out or whatever. We're going to do a virus. In the sequel they did, the whole planet is it's one world government. Unified military, moon military base in case the aliens come. That, I think, is a lot of people thought COVID would do this. That this universal threat would unite everybody. I'm not convinced. I think if they actually did discover aliens, the left and the right would react and hate each other over it, and it would become another tribal issue.
Well, we have to explain why the government for decades and decades was like, aliens don't exist, you're crazy, you're a conspiracy theorist, you're out of your mind if you do, and then they just officially changed their stance to like, oh yeah, they exist, they're out there. Why? What was behind this larger stance that essentially was 180 degrees in the opposite direction? So obviously a lot of people have those questions.
Did you hear Alex Jones recently when he went on that rant and like, he's like, I can't do it anymore. He's like, I'm gonna go to pre-record and just leave. And he was saying, he just started yelling and he was like, an alien intelligence is running this show or whatever. And I'm like, okay, look, part of his rant was that he was mad people weren't standing up to tyranny. But then he mentioned like alien intelligence controlling everything, and I'm like, okay, now you lost me.
Yeah, Alex Jones has a tendency to do that.
But like, it's funny because then we get this story about NASA hiring theologians. There's an episode of Star Trek: The Next Generation where Picard and the Enterprise crew are making first contact. In Star Trek: The Next Generation, the Federation only contacts civilizations once they discover warp technology. because it means they're about to start traveling the stars and going to other planets, and they'll soon be interacting with life in the universe. So they come to this planet where they just invent warp. And they're like, you need to consider what this will mean for your people and your planet. And the president of the country they go to basically says, we're a deeply religious people. This is too much for us too soon. People would lose their minds if they discovered this. Hence, the New York Post talking about theologians and needing to better understand this, because I think a lot of people might lose their minds if aliens were here. Mm-hmm. Then the assumption is aliens are here. They are involved, and everything that's happening is related to some like alien contact or something. We just don't know it yet.
Well, here's the thing. The government can literally say the opposite thing of what they said yesterday, and people believe it. Fauci literally came out and said, you don't need to wear masks. Don't need to wear them. They just get dirty and stuff. And then he's like,
schmutz.
Wear like 3 of them. And people are like, yes, science. All the government has to do is say aliens, science. And people be like, oh, they will forget. People are dumb. Like the Twitter generation, I say this because it's like there's no history. Like it's the news cycle is like 1 minute. People have no short-term memory. Yeah. It's like they smoke too much weed. People are just, they don't remember anything. And this is long-term. Like Area 57 or Heinz 57? Which is Area
51. Heinz 57.
It's delicious. But anyway, can you tell I'm hungry? So at the end of the day, I think that people don't know about that whole alien thing. Like my generation was all about aliens. Aliens was my life. Like I read books on aliens, and I was like going to the library. Remember libraries? We had those before.
Yeah, those are great.
I went to the library. I'd check out these books on aliens. These kids don't remember that. Like for example, my wrestling team, we're at a tournament. I'm like, dude, beat that kid up like Hulk Hogan. They're like, who's Hulk Hogan? I'm like, you don't know who Hulk Hogan is? They have no idea about the alien stuff that went on. It'll be dudes like us who are too old to care. Like I'm 41. You think a crazy 41-year-old talking about aliens going to get anybody excited?
When they were talking about UFOs and no one really cared, I was like, that's kind of it, right?
Yeah.
They're going to keep trickling out stories like this to desensitize people. And then in like 2 or 3 years, if there are really aliens, I'm not saying there are, they'll have to slow roll it. And then eventually one day they'll be like, oh, we saw a spaceship.
No. Sorry, go ahead, finish it.
No, that's basically the idea.
Eventually they'll be like, hey, this is B-Borp. He's really
B-Borp?
the one calling the shots here. Yeah. He was really under President Biden's skin.
Trump's going to be like, B-Borp was the greatest president ever. Everyone agrees. At least that's what I was told.
If you don't believe in aliens, I just want you to look up the name Lori Lightfoot.
Man,
that is a specimen right there.
You look at what's going on, and I think a lot of people want to believe in aliens because you look at this seemingly coordinated effort that's been happening around the country. Some people think it's, the Illuminati or whatever, but Alex Jones was yelling there's like an alien intelligence controlling all this stuff. And I'm like, I don't know about any of that stuff because it would mean that like Ron DeSantis isn't working with the aliens or something. So there's no coordinated alien. I don't know, man.
There's a lot that the government knows that they're not releasing, that they're not getting out there to the general public, that still is classified, which is ridiculous. I mean, we should at least know what's going on, but we should also be prepared for a potential psyop and for them to weaponize and use that information for their own benefit and their larger power grabs.
It's a great distraction, right? Yeah. There's no evidence we've got aliens coming to Earth. There's Fermi's paradox. There's a lot of speculation about it, but I think it's funny to see these stories. It's fun to talk about absurdity. At least, aliens are in the realm of possibility, unlike Don Lemon asking about whether or not an airliner was sucked into a black hole. Could there be aliens? Yes. Astronomically abysmal odds that anything like this is ever, I'll tell you what's infinitely more likely is that the government needs distractions.
Yes.
They need the people to get whipped up in a frenzy. If aliens ever came, the first thing I'd think is like, is that a government projection of our vehicle? Is it a drone? Are they just trying to screw with us? Because until I see Beat Borp come out, and then walk up to me and go, bark, 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 I'm going to be like, I don't believe it. I'll never believe it. Until I see Beat Borp himself.
Yeah. I'm holding out hope, man.
Beat Borp 2024. Yes. Vote for him and
I don't know if
satisfy the lizard people.
I don't know the aliens. So the aliens working with the lizard people? That's the question.
The aliens are the lizard people.
Oh. No. The lizard people are from Hollow Earth.
Oh, okay.
Or something.
Right. Yeah,
isn't that Stranger Things? I'm so confused right
now.
No, it's upside down.
I love these, deep dive rabbit hole websites. I was reading one that claims there was a very intelligent species of dinosaur that fled into caves when, the extinction event happened and survived. And they've been evolving for, millions of years. So they're substantially more advanced than humans and they're in underground cities. And there are people who believe that stuff, man. They believe there are underground cities of futuristic aliens. I'm sorry, they're terrestrial, but like lizard people or whatever. It's crazy. What was it? Oh yeah, I was watching The Simpsons. There was a clip when Bob Dole and Bill Clinton are Kang and Kodos.
Oh, yeah.
yes.
And then Homer Simpson's like, your politicians are actually green space lizards. And I was like, is that where the conspiracy came from? Or were they making fun of the conspiracy? Because it was like pre-internet, you know?
A long time ago.
Yeah.
Long time ago. Like, The Simpsons have gotten more things correct.
Oh yeah,
It's true.
It's gonna, of all the things to get right, it's going to turn out
But to
that,
me that-
politicians are actually alien lizards.
I'm not, dude. Like, here's the thing about 2020 and 2021. Nothing surprises me anymore. Like, I used to be like, I can't believe that. Now I'm like, yeah, okay, cool. It's Thursday. You know, it's like, you see the most absurd things happen. People say the most absurd things, and it just happens. And you're like, oh, it's just normal now.
There's a super chat here by Julie Simone that is relevant to the
Which one?
argument we had about the yellow fever single shot dose, saying that according to the CDC, it is just a single dose.
I went to a doctor, and he said it's a subcutaneous injection, and you have to come back after 6 months, and that if you get the second shot after 6 months, it provides immunity for 10 years.
Okay.
That's what I was told when I went to the doctor.
But not every 6 months.
No. It's
Got it.
you
Got
get
it.
the shot, then you come back for a booster at 6 months, and then it's good for 10 years. At least that's what I was told.
Yeah.
Thanks for checking out this segment from the Timcast IRL podcast. If you want to watch live, you can check out this channel Monday through Friday at 8 p.m. And don't forget to smash that like button, subscribe to this channel, and if you want more unfiltered and uncensored content with all of these guests, go to timcast.com and become a member. All of these guests you know and love in exclusive segments on our website where we are unrestricted in what we talk about, so you'll definitely not want to miss it. Thanks for hanging out. We'll see you all next time.